Yeah, hello everyone. So I think the weather is very good today, right? The sky looks blue. Now it doesn't look surprising to us, but some of us who have been here last year would have seen an orange sky for a couple of days in Bay Area. That was surprising. And probably 2 years before we saw that orange sky, I had a dream that this problem will occur and we have to solve this problem. And that was the genesis of AIDash. The sky was orange because of wildfire, which generally happens in California and many states in West Coast because vegetation gets into contact with the power line and causes some accident. Overall, this is about maintaining power lines in US or globally, right? Which looks an easy problem to solve. It's power line, we should fix it, right? But US alone has 7 million miles of power line. How do you inspect that? Very difficult problem. We thought that maybe there are satellites in the sky, they can solve the problem, and we attempted to solve the problem that way, and we eventually solved the problem. So what we essentially do in AI-Dash is, in boring words, satellite and AI-powered operations, maintenance, and sustainability for core industries with geographically distributed assets. Primarily, we work for utilities, but we also work for water, wastewater, oil and gas companies, etc. We monitor the infrastructure using satellite for various operations and maintenance use cases and sustainability use cases like GHG emission. We monitor that also from sky. And when we scan these data, what we do is we tell where the problems are so the utilities and other industries can go fix the problem. The advantage of satellite compared to, let's say, other technologies like drone, helicopter, etc. is scale. We can monitor tens of thousands of miles of power lines in a day. Right? And good thing for us was that from 2019, when we started our company, satellites also suddenly started increasing in numbers. So till 2018, there were around 2,000 satellites in space. From 2019 onwards, each year 1,000 satellites are getting launched. Beyond the imagery, there's an AI which works to solve these problems. And we'll talk about ethical AI also, but a quick overview because the slides are there, so I should talk about that. So we currently have 3 main lines of product. First is distribution asset management system, where for power line, pipeline, roads, railroads, we monitor this from space to help in operations and maintenance. The second part is intelligent sustainability management system, where we monitor assets of any business to measure, enhance, track, report, and offset sustainability metrics for land, air, and water. We call it Metro Law. The name clicked actually, right? So that's what we do. Our third product, which we had a soft launch in January, we are doing a formal launch next month in May at Distributech, is about disaster management. So when a storm hits, this wildfire is a problem in West Coast, but storm is a problem in South, right? So when a storm hits, a lot of time is wasted in deploying resources because they were positioned at wrong places. Using satellite and AI, we predict where the resources should be because where the problems could happen, where the outages could happen, and so the resources go at right places and they fix the problem. So these are the 3 products which we do. We have, in 3 years of journey, we have increased our team size to 200 odd people with our support from various investors, including BGV. So they trusted us when no one was trusting us in Bay Area because people say that it's difficult to sell to utilities, right? And we went to solve this, change this mindset, and fortunately we had 1 customer in 2019, 5 utilities in 2020, and more than 40 utilities in 2021 as customers. Now about the next slide on ethical AI. Now this is a little complicated for me, I'm not a techie anymore, but at a very high level when we think of, okay, we're monitoring infrastructure from space, so what could be relevant for us from ethical point of view, right? I mean, we are monitoring trees, power lines, pipelines. I mean, nature doesn't have a bias, right? So there should not be any ethical AI problem. But when we got into it, we saw there are a lot of issues which we have to tackle. The first, of course, is security, right? Data security, etc., etc. Even for the first customer, the amount of security due diligence we had to do, we never had that in our life. Right? So this is critical infrastructure data that has to be securely stored. That is one thing. Then when we monitor these assets, we see a lot of, let's say, for sake of better words, some place where maintenance was missed, right? So we inform the utilities that these places you have to do maintenance. That is one side of it. Couple of ethical problems which came to us really, there are two which I would like to highlight. One was, we were working with a utility customer. A contractor who is supposed to bid for the vegetation management work, he came to us asking, can we give them the data of where the vegetations are? Which of course we had to say no, we said no. The second was, again I will not name any customer or anyone, but the regulators came to us asking for this particular utility, can you tell where they have not done maintenance? Now, I think the governance principle or business principle ethics dictate that we should not do that, and we of course did not do that. So these are certain problems which we face where data is power, right? When you scan, so for example, we have 41 or 50 states we have customers, so we're scanning so much of volume of data. We may get to see a lot of things which we should not see, and even if we have seen, we should not worry about it, right? So that's what we do. Yes. Yeah, this is very interesting because, you know, I'll give a very real example of, for example, on a distribution line, from the substation as the power gets distributed, if your house is near substation, your line will be well maintained. If your house is towards the end of substation, your house line may not be well maintained because it's not going to impact so many customers, right? So a lot of such nuances exist in workflow, in data. From our point of view, what we deliver is right data at right time and right place, and it's up to utility to decide how to act on those data. In one more geography outside of US, there is an advantage of not knowing the problem, because if you know the problem and you don't fix it, there's a criminal liability involved. So there the utility asks us not to tell us beyond a point. So those things do happen, but for us, it is about delivering the data at right time, at right place, that's all. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, right? That's very true. But then, yeah, that's a fair point. So, any other questions? Yep. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Abhishek. So I think we're going to have Christoph come up and talk about what he's doing in InsurTech.